Since 7 months, thousands of girls in Afghanistan are deprived from their basic human rights and Islamic rights.
ما هم دختر هستیم، ما هم از افغانستان هستیم، ما هم بشر هستیم، انسان هستیم. چرا ما مکتب نریم؟ قلب و خون گریه میکنه. تو چی وقت؟
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Dr. Afsoon. I was a GP in Afghanistan. Taliban promised our girls that they can go back to schools after New Year. Finally, after 6 months of deprivation. All of those girls were so happy and thrilled for going back to school. And even they did not sleep all night because they were so excited. Next day, when they arrived to their school gates, they were told that they are not allowed to enter because Taliban said presence of girls in school are against Islamic law. And until they find an alternate solution, they should stay at home. On that day, millions of eyes cried and millions of hearts were shattered at once in a glance. It was in my mind that is there any restriction for women to learn and get education in Islam? I have grown up in a family that education was the most important thing. And we have learned that Islam encourages all human beings to be seeker of knowledge. But for the first time in my life, I was facing opposite of it, from a group which claims they are following Islam. I have only heard the stories about oppression, coercion, and bullying culture of Taliban from their first time dominance, and how they wasted 5 years of all girls in the past as well. So in this Ramadan, I started doing a little bit research about women in Islam, and I learned a lot. I learned that there is no restriction in Islam for women in anything. Every night I learned about a new Muslim woman and about their influence in society, and I was amazed and astonished that how much those women were strong and how much they influenced men and women around themselves, and how much they have changed their society. Dr. Akram Nadvi, author of 40-volume collection of women scholars in Islam, in his research unearthed the accounts of many such scholars whose legacy and contribution are forgotten by now, as the Shaykh describes. And I want to say that I faced the same thing which Shaykh faced, and I was completely amazed by it. Shaykh says, initially I thought there might be around 30 to 40 women, but as the research progressed, the accounts kept growing until I realized I had no less than 8,000 biographical accounts of Muslim women who played major role in preservation and development of Islamic tradition since the time of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ himself. The women I encountered were far more formidable when compared to men, and indeed some excelled way beyond their male competitors. These were exceptional women who not only participated in society but actively reformed it. Most striking was their caliber from intellectual achievement and the respect and recognition they received from it. By the end of Ramadan and only learning about 30 influential women in Islam, I learned a lot of things. Although in my videos I just try to praise them and introduce them in a very short way, but during the time when I was doing the research and I was reading about them, I was extremely impressed by each one of them. I learned how much Prophet Muhammad ﷺ respected women without any discrimination, how much he encouraged women toward getting education and being independent, and how much he trusted them and how much he wanted his followers to be educated without any discrimination. I learned that women were able to be anything that they wanted to be through all Islamic history, and more dominantly during Prophet Muhammad ﷺ time. I learned women should get education. I learned women have to be present in society. I learned Islam had given the best rights for women. I learned the person who does not let women to have access to education and their basic Islamic rights are oppressor and cruel, and being oppressor and cruel is a sin. I learned that people who are saying opposite of this and they are depriving women from education, they are just defaming Islam with their choices, and they are forcing their thoughts on people, which is not fair, and they are presenting Islam in an unjust way. Education is the right that Allah has given to us, and Prophet Muhammad ﷺ described it to us. I should consider our education system was facing a lot of problems from beginning because of culture, society, economics, and so many more things. And also after 2020 because of COVID, we were facing a lot of problems, and then shutting down schools for young girls were completely deadly. At the moment, 99% of those young girls between age of 12 up to 20 who are banned from going to school, they are suffering from depression, and a lot of them are forced into marriages because now their education time has come into an end. I have studied in Afghanistan and I went to school in Kabul, and those days were the best days of my life and it shaped my personality. We all used to wear white skirts and black uniforms covered head to toe, just a loose and simple clothes, which indeed was aligned with our culture and religion. I never thought of saying this, but indeed I am privileged that I am not a student anymore. It also affected my own family since my sister was a 9th grade student. My heart longs for all those girls with big dreams who wants to become something and they are at home. Education is the only weapon which can bring us happiness and the most essential thing for our society reform. One day is also one day. The more they deprive them from education, the more their motivation will die. And one day they may even forget they had a dream, and only a pain may remain in their hearts every time they say, I also studied till 7th grade. And then Taliban came. So by this video, I just want you to stand with Afghan girls and support them. Become their voice and raise your voice against this misogyny, which is against Islamic law and against human rights. It doesn't matter from where you are, it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter who you are, what's your gender, what's your race. You can help Afghan girls, raise your voice, make only a simple post and just share about them, talk about them. It's going to help them. Just tell the world that these girls need education, these girls want to be educated, these girls also want to do something in their lives. Thank you.
اما امروز خیلی جگر خود